Guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel. I am so excited that you're here. If this is your first time of coming, this is a place where we share biblical content with ourselves. Today and in this video, we're going to be starting a new series. This is the first ever series on this channel, and it is termed While You're Waiting. So this series is for the singles, and when I'm talking about singles, I mean people that are not in a civil union. So I am going to be explaining how or what are the things that you're supposed to be doing at this time. So stay tuned. Hello guys. Okay, so welcome back. I'm sure when you're talking about singles, as I stated earlier, singles or you being single means that you're not in a legal union. So what that means is you're not in a legal or civil union. So what that means, if you're engaged, yet to be married, you necessarily may still be single. If you're in a relationship, you're still single. I'm sure if you've watched so many Christian videos or even videos talking about your single time is the best time of your life, don't hate yourself in this time and all of that. But a lot of us, a lot of people don't even hate themselves, but they don't just know what they're meant to be doing. Like, what is the plan for me? What am I meant to be doing at this time? My friends are getting married, people are getting engaged. What am I meant to be doing at this time? This video would help you. I know if you've been a Christian for a while, or for the benefit of people that do not know, you know that a marriage basically in the Bible symbolizes the marriage between Christ and the church. So, but what does singleness mean? Let's open our Bibles to the book of Revelations, Revelations 14 verse 4. So Revelations 14 verse 4 says, and it says, it is these who has not defiled themselves with women, for they are chaste. It is these who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been redeemed for mankind as the first fruit for God and for the Lamb. Here, the Bible was referring to the saints as virgins, people that are single, people that have been dedicated exclusively to God and the Lamb. So what does this tell us as single people? It tells us that your singleness or your single state is a time of dedication to God. And we're going to be looking at what should we be doing at this time. How can you, in the process of dedicating yourself to God, what are the practical things that you can be doing? We're going to be using David as a case study. So let's open our Bibles to 1 Samuel 16. Verse 14. So if you don't already know, for people that don't know, they would a lot of us, or even they tell us that the first time that Saul met David was on the battlefront when David wanted to fight against Goliath. But that was not actually true, and that is in 1 Samuel 17. But 1 Samuel 16 talks about how David met Saul for the first time. So it says here that there was a evil spirit from God that would come upon Saul. And when the spirit comes upon Saul, Saul requested for somebody that was skilled in playing a musical instrument. So let's see the recommendation that was given to Saul. So here, 17, 1 Samuel 16, 17 says, and Saul said to his servants, provide for me a man who can play well and bring him to me. So one of the young men answered, listen to the answer very, very carefully. He says, behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, who is skillful in playing, a man of valor, a man of war, prudent in speech, a man of good presence, and the Lord is with him. So this person probably already knew this son of Jesse that they're talking about. Who is the son of Jesse that we're talking about? We're talking about David. So let's just imagine this case. So how, when I was reading, I was actually thinking, so how did these people get to know about David? He put himself out there. As a young man, a young person, a young woman, you're looking like, oh, you're single, and like, what is the next thing for my life? I would say, what do you know how to do? Are you using and putting yourself out there? You see, in this case of David, he knew how to play a musical instrument, was skilled, so he loved the music. And he did it to the extent that somebody noticed him, and when they were giving his recommendation, they were saying, I know somebody who is skilled. You see, some version even describes him as, it says, comely, talented, diligent. This is the time to put yourself out there. What you know how to do. I can remember when I finished school one time. And when I finished school, I can remember the first question my dad asked me. He asked me that, so Tommy, what next? And I was like, what I'm going to study in school and all of that. And it was like, what do you know how to do? Like apart from what you did in school. So what if you don't get you don't get a job? What is your plan B? And I was like, I've maybe not thought that far. You see, as young people waiting to get married, or as people that are married, now is the time to discover yourself. What do you have in your hands? What can you use? Then I was thinking, oh my God, like I know how to talk. I think I know how to teach a little bit. Should maybe I should start a YouTube channel? And ideas were coming to me then, and all of that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach this. I'm going to I'm going to maybe I'll start teaching the Bible and all of that. I don't know if you understand. My question is, what do you know how to do? What can you do? And are you doing it to the extent that people would notice you? Are you putting yourself out there? Just imagine if David, did not put himself out there to the extent that other people noticed. Maybe he was just playing harp in his family house. He just played for his family members and all of that. Would this recommendation, would it have been given or even said about him? To the extent that even, the servants of Saul say, I know somebody. That was the first name that came to their head. The Bible didn't talk about it, but maybe it was in a band, or there was a place where he used to go to play music, and people really, oh, this guy is nice, he can play well, and they just, noticed him they just noticed him, and they just went their way. But later, his skill made way for him. The Bible says, where is a man diligent in his work? He should stand before kings and not before mere men. So what do you know how to do? Is it music that you know how to do? Do you really like fashion? Do you know how to? How can you put yourself out there with what you know how to do? That's what you should be thinking about now. In this time that you're single, I don't know if you've spoken to married people. They wish, that they were single and they had time, the time that you have in your hands right now, that you're not utilizing well. What do you know how to do? Are you putting yourself out there? David put himself out there. Let's look at the life of David and get another thing from it. We're going to be reading this one from the book of 1 Samuel 17, verse 12. This one says, it says, now David was the son of a man, of an Ephraite of Bethlehem in Judah, named Jesse, who had 8 sons. So in the days of Saul, the man was already old, that's David's father, and advanced in years. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse had followed Saul to the battle, and the names of the 3 sons were Eliab, the firstborn, next to him Abinadab, and the third one Shammah. David was the youngest. The eldest son followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. So we can say that his father had a business. His father was already old. So David had 8 brothers. So let's say the Bible spoke about 3 of them that were on the battlefront, but Bible never spoke about 4. So Bible spoke about 3, the first 3, and then the last one, David. But what were the 4 doing? Have you ever sat down to think about it? The Bible didn't even say anything about them. We don't know. Maybe they were not relevant to the story, or maybe they were not doing anything to write them about. Have you ever thought about that? So let's see. So David was taking care of his father's sheep. And this was who some God has prepared to be a shepherd of people. And when I mean a shepherd of people, somebody that leads people. But where did he have to start from? He had to start leading animals. What am I talking to you about today? As single people, do not be afraid to start small. So when you're discovering, what am I going to do for myself? Now I'm young. Maybe, I'm not married yet. I just finished uni. I'm looking for what next for my life. Do not, in anything that you do, maybe in the first job you get or in anything, do not be afraid to start small. You see, God had a plan for David. And that was that he was going to be a king of Israel, a leader of people. But he had to start leading sheep, animals first, before he became a leader of men. The Bible talks about, one Bible text talks, he said one time when Saul was pursuing David, you see, men came to him, people that were regarded as vagabonds, people that were owing money, they all came to him that be our leader. Imagine. They came to him like, you know what, we're going to put you as our own leader and we're going to follow you wherever you go. What am I trying to tell you today? In that thing that you want to do, You're thinking about, maybe they're not going to pay me well. Maybe nobody's going to buy what I wanted to do or something. Do not be afraid to start small. Now is the time to sow seeds. You see, your single time, if you do not take anything away from this video, now that you're single is your seed sowing time. The Bible talks about it in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. It says, "For the time of sowing and there's a time for harvest." Now that you're single is a time of sowing. Let's see what David sowed into his future. The Bible talks about it in this same First Samuel, verse 17, verse 34. It says, "But David said to Saul, your servant used to keep sheep for his father, and when there was a lion or a bear and took a lamb, who took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And he rose against me, and I caught him by the beard and smote him and killed him. Your servant had killed both lion and bear with, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be like one of them." So David was telling here. So what happened was Goliath came and was talking and making noise and threatening the people of Israel, and they were all afraid, and they were scared, like who was going to face. So David one day came to give his brothers food at the war front and saw how this guy was boasting against the people of God, and he was quite perplexed. He was moved in his spirit and said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine? You're talking against the armies of God." So he said, "Okay, fine. I'm going to go and I'm going to do something about it." So they took him to the presence of the king Saul. So the king told him, "What are you like? Do you think you can do this?" and all of that. And this was a testimony that David was giving Saul. He said, "You know what? I used to keep my father's sheep. And when bear comes, when lion comes, and when all these things come, I used to kill them with my bare hands." He said, "That God that delivered me then will deliver me now." What am I trying to say? And why did I tell you all of this? They used to say something when you go for a job interview, and they will say like, "How many years of experience do you have?" I personally think they don't ask us, or they don't ask you to know like how many years, of just to waste their time. There's this kind of confidence that comes with experience. I don't know if you know it. Maybe, I don't know if you understand what I mean. Maybe, for example, let's just use a very basic example. You can cook a food, like a particular food, like you can cook rice very well. If somebody tells you any point in time, "Come and cook rice," there's this, "Oh yeah, rice, I know how to do it." There's this confidence that comes with experience. That was what was happening to David. He had already sown, and he has sown hard work into his future, sown the seed of hard work. So when it came to Saul, and then we're talking like, okay, what are you going to be able to do and all of that, he told him, he said, "You know what? Let me open my CV for you. God, when I was feeding my father's sheep, a lion came, I killed him with my bare hands. A bear came, I killed him with my bare hands," and all of this. And when he was talking about it, I'm sure Saul would have been saying, "This small boy, this is what you could," and that definitely would have been one of. You would have, okay, maybe you can do this. Maybe, let's just say, maybe you're a very courageous boy. That was one thing that gave, apart from, of course, definitely, God gave him confidence, because at the end of the day, it was already written that was going to be the one that would kill, in the will of God. He would kill the Goliath. But I'm telling you, individually, I was thinking about it. I was like, this confidence had to come from experience. So apart from doing what you knew how to do and doing it diligently, he also was able to pick up skills from what he was doing. Killing skills. I was thinking about all of this. Killing skills. The ability to actually face the enemy and kill them. And that was what he was, and that was the confidence that he had when he even went in the presence of Goliath. That was what God used for him. So now that you're single, is the time to begin to discover yourself. When you discover who you are, put yourself out there. Do not be afraid to start small and be ready to pick up skills. I don't know if people that know me, they know that in my uni I actually studied international law and diplomacy. Now I can tell you I'm not doing anything remotely even very close, remotely similar to what I did in school. Because in life, you don't really know where life will take you. Be ready to pick up skills in anywhere. Is there this course that has been in your mind for a long time? This is the time to go after that thing that you want. Now that you're single, this is the time to really go after what you want. Pick up that course, learn that course. What is the next big thing? Is this, go after what you want. This is the time. And I can remember I was listening to Michael Todd a couple of I listen to him all the time, like a lot of time. And I was listening to him and it was like, singleness is the best time of your life. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said, you know what? The person that God would send you would, when you begin to walk in alignment with the will of God, and you begin to do the will of God and that thing that God wants for you to do, you see, one day God will tell you to look by your side and you see somebody too that is working in his own purpose. And God will just say, look, that's the person that God has prepared for you. What am I trying to say? Don't sit because you're single, or maybe you're still trying to find relationship, nothing has been working. Don't sit down and then think that all hope is lost. Take this time of singleness as your sowing time. If you did not learn anything from this video, pick that one, put it at the back of your mind. This is the time for sowing. This is my sowing time. Begin to sow seeds into your life and your future. Begin to sow skills into your life and your future. Is this course you want to take? Is there something that you want to do? Is this because there's some skills that we pick up today that are not necessarily for today? They are for your tomorrow. David picked up this skilling and skill to be able to combat the enemy, confidence and all of this from the bush. But what? That skill was what helped him in the presence of other people. So don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there as regards to what you have and what you can do. Is there something you want to sell? Start. Is there a skill you want to pick up? Is there something you've always been interested in? Is there a course you felt, maybe when I have time, I'll do this course. I have been thinking about it. Don't think, start doing. This is the time of sowing. I hope that this video blessed you, and please do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. So if you know anybody that is single that you feel like this video would bless their life so much, you can share this video with them. And I pray that this video would not just you will not just lose it, but it would actually be beneficial to your life and to my life. Have a fantastic week. God bless you. Don't forget, stay yoked.